Yeah, Philip, I know, and we're gonna find out here. Unfortunately, I was up really late last night and didn't have time to test it myself, so we're gonna go in here one person at a time and kind of see if we can see what's going on. Yeah, I really hope it isn't messed up, but we'll see. Hey, Elstamara, welcome. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it, both you and Philip. Thank you. Welcome, Lord Henry. Hope everyone had a good holiday as well, and an upcoming good holiday for the first. Philip, honestly, it surprises me to no end that y'all still want to show up here and watch me stream. Thank you all very, very much for another year. Another very fun year with all of you. I certainly do appreciate it. I can't thank you enough. Yeah, the holidays this year are a bit more subdued for me. With the new job, I only have one vacation day, so I took New Year's Eve off, the last day of the year that I could take off with my vacation. Just a lot of busy stuff going on right now at work, so working through that means I'm doing a lot of stuff there and not really being able to take time off like I would over the holidays normally. So just have Christmas Day, New Year's Day as company holidays, and then my one day of vacation is New Year's Eve. Oh, I'm sorry everybody's sick, Astamura. That's a pain. Hopefully everybody gets better. I'm not feeling tip-top myself today. I've got a little scratch in the back of my throat. Don't think it's going to turn into anything, but we'll see. And that's good. Everybody should be able to spend the time with their families, Lord Henry. My family all lives several hundred miles away, and I didn't have enough vacation because of the new job to be able to go see anybody, but I'll be heading to see people next year, or they'll be coming down here one way or the other. Yeah, glad to hear it, Astamura. It's a very fun time of year, for the most part. Normally, business for me is winding down during the end of the year, but this year is kind of an anomaly. So extraordinarily busy at the new job. So it's the holidays are going to go by quick. They're going to go by very, very quick. So, and I'm one of the only people in the office. Everybody else is on paid vacation right now. So just me, but there's 1,000 things to get done. So it's good. It helps me focus on the work. It's going good. There's a lot of learning involved. It overlaps with my previous job, but only to a certain extent. So there's a lot of learning of methods and materials for installing the stuff that I used to design. So I'm learning all of that, which is going really, really well. But still doing design on smaller things intermittently as well. So it's I really enjoy the company, really enjoy the people. I love learning, so this is good. There's just a lot of work going on right now. I don't know, Philip. We'll kind of wait and see. There are some things that are coming out this year that I definitely want to look at. I'm still really interested in Exodus when it comes out. We don't have a release date or timeline or that sort of stuff for it. But, you know, it's been a while since I've done that. I'll probably put up a link in the video description for my founder's link to Exodus. So if you want to sign up on their mailing list, I have a link that that gets me towards some founders items in the game. But I haven't done that in a while, so I'll probably put up a post about it or something like that. So I really want to take a look at that when it comes out. But in the meantime, I have been playing some other things that I'd started before Veilguard came out, and kind of interested in picking those up as well. I probably won't do another BG3 stream, is my guess, but who knows? We'll take a poll at the end of this and see what y'all want, because I'm a slave to what y'all want for a lot of things. So. And it really kind of depends, Astamura, but yeah, I've got some plans for that. But once we end this, or who knows, maybe we'll end up ending Veilguard sooner, then I have some plans for RPG type games that we'll be doing that I've already tested out and want to play. Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream, episode number 38 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on an admin note, I've got a little scratch in the back of my throat, and it kind of feels like I'm losing my voice. So, if you hear my voice start to go out a little bit or things like that today, we'll just kind of work through it and see if I can kind of keep it lubricated with some water, and we'll see how it goes. But if there's a change in my voice, that's kind of what it's from. I don't think there are any other admin notes. So, on our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we had ventured up to the roof of Worm's Rock Fortress, and we had cleared out all of the enemies that were up there in preparation for later fighting Gortash. And we've now made our way back down to the bottom to enter into Gortash's Coronation Chamber to witness that. However, there's a problem with that. So, or there's a potential problem with that, I should say. So let's go ahead and jump in here. And we'll do a couple of things and then we'll discuss that. Okay, so here's where we left off at the end of last week's episode. Now, going in here is not a problem. Okay, this area is kind of its own little self-contained room inside of Worm's Rock. Clicking on the door to the audience hall is where the potential problem might start. So, inside here, there's not a whole lot to do. You can go in, and there are a couple of things in here that you can search, and there's a bunch of people in here that you can talk to, including Mizora, but we're going to hold off on talking to Mizora right yet, because we're going to bring Will into our party here in a second. It's important for me to have Karlach and Will in our party for this conversation, just so you get all the different dialogue options and that sort of stuff. Hopefully there won't be any combat up here, so I won't need to worry about Will being in a party replacing somebody. But who knows? We will see how that goes, and it may play out it may play out differently once we get up there. So inside here, again, you can talk to the various bodyguards and the various attendants. There's an attendant and a bodyguard for each one of the nobles that are upstairs. So you can talk to them all, but it's just basic conversation. Nothing really important. So what we're going to do now is head back to camp real quick. Okay, and while I'm here, I'm going to level up. Okay, so for me here, I'm not going to focus on Bard at level 11. I'm going to focus Paladin because this is going to get me my Divine Smites. For a fighting style, there's nothing else that we want between these two. Defense is going to give us a straight +1 bonus to our armor class. So we're going to go ahead and take that. As far as our prepared spells go here, okay, I'm just moving more into the damaging type elemental smites, as well as Divine Favor, which is just a straight boost in radiant damage using your bonus action. This is going to be something that if I'm out of hexes, if I'm out of spell slots to cast hex, I can fall back on a 1d4 bonus here, as opposed to the necrotic damage bonus from hex, and I don't have to use a spell slot to get it back. As far as command goes, this is just a great spell, period. For a level 1 enchantment spell, it's amazing. And remember, we're wearing gear that we can cast enchantment and illusion spells as bonus actions, not actions as well. So something else to keep in mind. Okay, so for Astarion, Monk level 8, this is going to get us a new feat, and I'm definitely taking Alert here. We had taken Tavern Brawler previously. We definitely want that Cannot Be Surprised, especially for something that's going to be happening today. But we do get another key point here out of this as well. But other than that, nothing else really special at Monk level 8. Okay, now Cleric level 11 for Shadowheart gets us a bunch of things. And really, I mean that in the way of the spells. Planar Ally is amazing. It's great to bring in a Jean or a Deva or a Cambion to come in and fight with you. They're high hit point, high damaging enemies or allies, which is really good. Hero's Feast is also really, really good. Before we get into major fights, we're going to make sure that we have somebody back at camp who can cast Hero's Feast on our party members. Not being able to be frightened is huge, but Wisdom saves are most of your debilitating spells. Making those with advantage is good. The hit point increase is obviously nice, but not being able to be frightened and making Wisdom saves with advantage is what really shines with Hero's Feast. Blade Barrier is okay. Harm is really good. I don't use it very often because I'm normally doing other things with Shadowheart's action. But for a straight damage spell, 14d6 Necrotic is really, really good. And then Heal, obviously, is straight up 70 hit points of healing. There's no minimums or maximums, it's just a straight 70. And it removes blindness and cures any diseases. So there's some really good level 6 spells here. As far as the preparation goes, I'm going to remove Harm. I'm going to put in Planar Ally. And what I'm probably going to end up doing is removing also Cure Wounds out of here and throwing in something else. Possibly Blade Barrier or something like that. Or Mass Cure Wounds. Something like that instead. I want to have Death Ward available to me right now. Okay. And I need to have Remove Curse on her available as well. So for level 11 Barbarian, you're going to gain the Barbarian version of Death Ward. While you are raging, if you get dropped to 0 hit points, you pop back up with 1 hit point. Now, that can be okay and not okay. So many enemies have multiple attacks at this stage of the game, and if you get dropped to 0 on that first one, you're going to pop back up, but you're immediately going to get dropped again because of it, as opposed to them knocking you down and then possibly moving off of you to somebody else because you're no longer a threat. But it is something that you can trigger once per short rest, so it basically is a death word while you're raging every short rest. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to bring Will into my party.
A private word would be nice.
Always good to talk, my friend.
Okay, and there's a bunch of conversations that we're going to have here as well.
I met her twice. The first time I was a boy of 7 or 8 at a banquet in the Flaming Fist's honor. One look and I was smitten. Chestnut hair that flowed behind her like willow fronds, She floated from one room to the next as if carried by clouds. The second time, Stelmane was different. Even with the aid of a cane, each step she took was a struggle. Every word she spoke took great physical effort. A stroke victim? I asked Father later. No, he said. A stroke survivor.
You sense uncertainty in Will's voice. He questions his father's explanation.
So there's a passive perception check there that opens up a persuasion check here.
Something's always gnawed at me. At the banquet, Stelmane didn't seem to look at us, but through us. But that second time, her gaze never left me. It was steel, sharp and unyielding. It could just be my imagination, but I always felt that it was more than a stroke that had changed her. What, though? I couldn't say. Not a tragedy, a calculated cruelty. Think about it. My father was tadpoled. Stelmane is dead. The people are frightened and the council's in disarray. To exert control, you must first sow chaos. A tyrant's strategy, as father would say. These murders aren't random acts. Someone powerful is guiding the killer's hand, and the city is made weaker for it.
Well, Commandy, no, we're gonna have to have some conversations here up front before we go into this, and we're gonna be bringing Will into our party. Okay, now that we've learned last episode that we are a ball spawn, we can talk to everybody about that as well.
Hells, it explains so much. Listen to me. I knew another like you, Gorion's ward. One of Baldur's Gate's great heroes. Baal's blood ran through their veins too. They burned away their own darkness with their own inner light. They chose courage. They chose honor. And so can you.
So that is another reference that goes back quite a way, back to Baldur's Gate 2, The Shadows of Am. Gorion's Ward is the player character. It's who you are during those games. So you learn a little bit more in some of the expansions and extensions of that game, but that is a reference all the way back to the first two games and the expansion in the series, and you don't get that interaction unless you are playing as a Dark Urge. So it's pretty impressive that they're taking this all the way back there and only under specific circumstances. Okay, so we're going to bring Will in.
Always good to talk, my friend.
And we're going to leave Shadowheart.
Let's make this happen.
Will's going to want to level up here.
Sharp as ever.
It doesn't really matter. I'm not interested in what I'm doing with Will for the most part. So I'm just going to get his level ups done here. Okay, so the Mystic Arcanum that becomes available to us at level 11 is really pretty cool. So we're going to get access to some spells here, and I'm trying to decide whether it's between Eye Bite or Flesh to Stone. I think it's going to be Eye Bite. instead. I won't be using any of these. You'll kind of see how I handle that, Philip. I'm not going to be getting into combat one way or another here, and you'll see that here in a second. I'm going to drop Karlach Shapeshift.
I have such a headache. Light on my feet.
Because I did not have time to test this previously to see what was going to happen in here. So I'm going to leave camp.
The city fell under Gortash's charms without him casting nary a spell.
Okay, and I'm going to send...
Well, most people are idiots.
everybody else back to camp. Because all I'm going to do is go in here and test and see what's going to happen inside this room.
Walk in death.
Lord Gortash
Okay.
is expected.
I have alert, and I have a really high initiative, so I'm hoping that whatever happens, and I've got a high armor class. I'm at 26. So I'm hoping that whatever happens here, there's a bunch of Steel Watchers in this room. So if I go in here and things are hostile, I'm hoping that I can go invisible and make my way out of combat and get out of the room through one of the doors at the back. I could go out the sides, but I'm going to try and make my way out the back of this room if I can. And then my other player characters, I don't want them in Worm's Rock, because if I go into the audience hall and the audience hall goes hostile, all of Worm's Rock is going to go hostile, like in the Paladin playthrough. And I don't want any of my characters standing inside Worm's Rock when that happens, or they would be brought into combat as well. So I'm leaving them at camp. I'm hoping that nothing happens when I go in here, but we will see. Now, the other thing I don't know is if I'm going to get a save as soon as I go through this door or not. So I'm going to drop a save out here right now, and we're going to go ahead and enter the audience hall. Now, for those of you who don't remember last week, while fighting up on the roof, Karlach threw her hammer, and it knocked one of the Steel Watchers down. Okay, now, I think they're immune to being knocked prone, so I don't think they're meant to be that way, but it got knocked prone, and it clipped through the floor. And right below the floor it clipped through is the left side here of the audience hall. So I don't know if that Steel Watcher is still angry, is still hostile towards me, or because that combat ended, he's gone back to being yellow, and he's just sitting in the room and he's not angry at us anymore, and we can treat him like everything's normal, or if he's just disappeared into the ether somewhere, and he vanished to Narnia or something, and he's just gone. We don't know any of the answers to those. So that's what we're going to find out really quickly here when we go through this door. Okay, so it looks like he just disappeared. Both of the patrolling Steel Watchers are here. There's not a third one, and nobody up here is hostile. So let's bring everybody else back. And we'll have everybody join up again.
Mind never quiet.
Okay, So, thankfully, no negative effects of the Steel Watcher clipping through the floor, other than the fact that we lost 500 XP out of it. That's the only downside, really, that appears to have come out of it. So yeah, it's all rendered in. I don't see them. So it's an honor mode run, so I am thankful that nothing happened. So yeah, Philip, the suspense, I am glad that there was no payoff to that suspense. So we're going to go in here and we're going to make our way down. Duke Ravengard is here and Gortash is here. With Karlach in our party, we're going to get a much different cutscene than normal. Because remember, Gortash is part of Karlach's personal companion questline. And with Will being here, we're going to get interactions with Duke Ravengard as well. So let's go ahead and I'm going to drop another save before this. I think we get an autosave partway down this. Oh, yeah. No, Astarion's still with us.
Keep a blade close.
Okay, he still does have it.
Wretched thing, pull yourself together.
Yep.
Another step forward.
Kinspeople, Baldurians, and dearest Duke Ravengard, thank you for joining me on this exceptional day.
It's him. Gortash. This is it. I can practically taste his blood from here.
My father's here, Karlach. Cool your fires. He must not come to harm.
Okay, now there are several different ways to approach this encounter. Karlach wants to just go after him, okay? And you can go that way by clicking here, all right? Will's father's here. He obviously wants to not get into a fight with him. He knows that he's tadpoled, and he knows he's under control of the Absolute, so he doesn't want to have a fight. We can persuade Karlach here as well. So I'm going to go this persuasion route.
So we bide our time. But make no mistake, that monkey is mine.
A moment, please, my friends. An old acquaintance has come to pay her respects. Please, Karlach, come and say a proper hello.
My respects! You're lucky I've agreed not to shove my boot up your...
Ah, how I've missed your colorful turns of phrase. We must catch up just as soon as I've had words with your little friend. As for you, I understand congratulations are in order. Thorm's defeat hasn't gone unnoticed. You're known for who you are and for that netherstone that you carry. The quakes are a clear warning. If nobody steps in soon, it'll free itself from the authority of the crown. I expect it'll start with turning the Sword Coasts infected. You among them. That prism of yours won't last indefinitely. Next, the grand design. The Mind Flayer Empire reborn. If we're lucky, we'll become slaves. If we're unlucky, well, not the most thrilling of prospects, but it's a fate that can be avoided. If you and I come to an understanding, together we can still restore authority over the brain. There's an old wisdom. A brittle alliance can never be mended. It can only break. With Ketheric felled, Orin proves treacherous. She craves the Netherstones for her own, desperate to impress Baal. She only cares for blood, and your blood and mine are of particular interest to her. Orin changes shape faster than you and I change clothes. You know, she's tricked you before. She's targeted me as well. I'm well protected, but she's extremely good at what she does. If Orin obtains all 3 Netherstones, she'll plunge the coast into chaos and paint the city in blood. I can't let that happen. I want to lead this city to glory, not scorch its earth. I'd like to propose a pact, a divine oath sworn upon spirit and flesh. I do no harm to you, nor you to me. Furthermore, you'll have nothing to fear from my steel watch while our pact stands. Thorm's stone is yours to keep. When you slay Orin and take her stone, you bring it here, so the 3 are united once again. Together we rule Faerun as kings. No, more than kings. Gods. We rule as the absolute.
And my father?
The urge, the deplorably brutal urge sickens within you. When you level the world over, that dead world must be yours alone. But first you will rule. Then you will ruin.
What do you say? Shall we be allies?
I can detect no deceit. This alliance could serve us well. And if it does not, well, we need not honor it.
Let's be allies, said the viper to the frog.
Okay, now this particular dialogue screen is very important, and I don't like the way it's laid out at all. The paladin option here will break your oath, and that seems counterintuitive since it's got paladin in front of you, and you are pledging a solemn oath. However, evidently siding with either Gortash or Orin is enough to not be upholding justice or righteousness. So selecting this option here will break your oath. You don't want to pick that unless you are set on going down the Oathbreaker route, because again, if you break your oath, you can't respec until you pay 1,000 gold for the first offense, and then 2,000 gold for the next offense, and 3,000 for the next, to restore your oath, and then you can respec. So if you are going to go down the Oathbreaker route and you're happy with all of your specs and you don't want to respec, that's fine. However, at this point, I don't think that's going to be the case for anybody. There are vendors here in this act which we want to level up their attitudes, and for that we need to respec down to level 1 on the main character to do it. So again, I don't like how this is worded. This will break your oath if you decide to do it.
So Ketheric was ready to betray our alliance too. I can't say it comes as a surprise, but you should know this. I initiated this plot. I brought Ketheric and Orin together to create the Absolute. They knew this would only work if we stood united and coordinated our powers. Their ambition blinded them to reason. I don't suffer the same affliction. In short, you can trust me.
Okay, now there is an insight check back here. I can try it. I could also do detect thoughts, but insight is a better option for us. Doesn't really matter if we pass this or not. It's a pretty high DC.
Gortash's eyes blink in a consistent rhythm. He stands calmly, confidently. He fully intends to share his kingdom with you.
Okay, so you have a yes, I'm going to do it. You have a no, I'm not going to do it. And then you have a middle road. As long as you don't pick this one, you're going to be fine.
Perhaps a demonstration of why you need my help will motivate you to make the right decision. Your camp is compromised. One among you is an imposter, a faceless. Who, I can't say. I'd suggest a thorough investigation. You'll find I speak the truth.
An imposter? But who in the hells?
The faceless in your camp is like a knife at your throat. Remove it quickly, or any alliance between us would be exceedingly short-lived. Even horror has a home. Find her nest and slay her there. For all its charms, Baldur's Gate has long had a cancer at its heart. A hidden temple devoted to Baal. That's where Orin became what she is, where she worshipped and schemed. And now, it's where she hides from my watchers, when she's not spilling blood in the streets. You're resourceful. I trust you'll sniff it out. If the trail goes cold, follow the bodies.
Hey, Depot Guy, welcome. I'm hoping to do mine on the first try as well, but we'll see.
First, Orin the Red, bloody dagger of Baal, causes panic in the streets through killings in the Absolute's name. Next, the threat of the Absolute's monstrous armies formed by Merkel's general, Ketheric Thorn. In such circumstances, people crave strong leaders. Leaders that bring law, order, and protection. Leaders like me, Bane's unyielding hand, author of justice. You are soon to witness the people of Baldur's Gate granting me complete power over them, all out of fear of the Absolute. Next, we will declare curfew and begin infecting the masses. Our subjects will hear the voice of their absolute God. The faithful will do anything in the name of their God. Powerful connections. Let's leave it at that. Soon. First, come and be witness as I make history. The first Archduke of Baldur's Gate. You will follow me, and you will show due respect. Distinguished dukes, patriarchs, dearest Ravengard, I will heed your call. A new chapter begins.
Enver Gortash, swearest thou by Balduran's blade to defend the citizens of Baldur's Gate from enemies within and without?
I swear.
Swearest thou true faith and fealty to the same, by word, deed, and decree, so that none may suffer?
I swear.
Gathered guests, grant ye consent? Enver Gortash, the council appoints you Archduke of Baldur's Gate.
My friends, the Steel Watch stands ready. Let its blade fall on any who would diminish our city. And you, honored guest, will find me in my office above when you return. Do not come empty-handed.
Okay, so we got a lot of journal updates there. So let's go ahead and have some conversations here.
So there you have it. Lord Enver Gortash in all his glory. What did you make of him? Yeah. Fucker always had expensive taste. I don't know how anyone in this hall could fall for this charade. Isn't it obvious what a chancer he is? And they expect these big metal monsters to tuck them in at night while the Absolute knocks on the gates. If only they knew the truth. The Dead Three orchestrated all of this. And it's working. I wish this city, the people running it, were smarter than me. Gortash isn't their salvation. He's the monster at the gate.
Don't worry, Karlach. We're gonna burn it all down here fairly quickly.
Unthinkable. To see my own father named Gortash, the sole ruler of Baldur's Gate. Please, we need to speak with him. Maybe he can see reason.
Okay, we are gonna make sure we do one more thing here, and that's turn off his helmet during dialogues.
All right.
And now we can go up here and talk to Ravengard.
Seems like a good moment to talk.
Truest of souls, bathed in her light.
There is a fleeting connection. Your parasite communes with his, then falls quiet.
Father, my dearest boy, the hells have touched you, but you've come to me just as Gortash said you would. A true soul, no less. Father and son, unstoppable generals. You and your allies will usher in a new dawn. Help me. Ah, the Black Widow caught you in her web. Florrick chose shadow over light. Her betrayal burned deeper than the fires of a furnace. She's been punished for her lies. Don't let her get to you.
Punished? Gods. Don't want to imagine what that entails. Maybe there's still time to find her.
Within Ravengard's memories, you find Counsellor Florrick. She is confined in a cell right here in Worm's Rock.
The sun rises, true soul. Are you ready? What is a hero, if not an actor for the greater good? Faerun suffers in darkness. Tyr has abandoned us. Helm's Eye has strayed. But Baldur's Gate will soon burn bright, a beacon to light the heavens. Gortash and I will ignite the final spark, and that, true soul, is the greatest of goods.
No, this isn't him. This is the tadpole talking.
For a brief moment, uncertainty clouds his mind, then dissipates. The astral prism vibrates in concord.
What nonsense is this?
The prism quivers once more. Ravengard falters.
As I said, Baldur's Gate will ascend. Torill's first and only grand city.
I'm bound to throw a nat 1 here sometime. But for now, we'll take it.
First comes a vision of terror. The city of Baldur's Gate taken by Lithids. But beyond the terror, there is hope. You see a beaming Ravengard presiding over the sunlit city, applauded by the people. A people at peace.
Ravengard, the real Ravengard, is in there somewhere. We can't give up on him.
Have we finished then?
Okay, so let's talk to Will real quick.
Incredible. To hear my father's voice speak those words, like a stranger wrapped in his flesh. But there's still a glimmer of him in there, calling for release. I feel it. I know it. I won't let the Absolute keep him. This is my pledge.
Okay. So you can have a few more lines of conversation with Gortash, but we don't need to at this point. So taking stock of where we are around here, this door here will lead you to the upper courtyard where we just were. You can see the stairs behind it. So this is the way that you would take to normally get back up top. The doors around each side, here and here, just lead you to these open balconies. So there's nothing else to explore up here. There's no other accesses to anything or things like that here inside the room. There is an upper area up here that you can also explore as well. We're not going to do that yet. We're going to come back after all of this is gone. Once you leave this area for the lower city, and once you leave this room and then you come back, Gortash will be gone. He will have teleported up to his office upstairs, the one that we cleared out last episode. And when you get to that point, things change a little bit in here, and you're a little more free to do more walking around. But for now, we're just going to head back out of here. So yeah, these doors lead you out here onto the two barbicans on each side. Okay, but again, nothing in particular out there for you to look at. So we're just going to head back down.
Here we go.
Because we do need to have a conversation with Mizora.
If it isn't little Will, straight to your handler, and I didn't even have to whistle.
Mizora, I've had enough. You owe your life to me. Time to end the pact.
Poor thing. You've had a tough go, and you don't know the half of it. You see, Gortash has had your father relocated to the slaughter, the way I hear it.
Shit.
Your dad's good as dead, pup. And to think, there's no way to save him. Or is there?
You know something.
I know enough. I'll be in your camp if you want to work something out.
Okay, and talking to Will again.
Of course she'd stick her infernal nose where it doesn't belong. Of course she's dreamt up some risible scheme. By all the hounds of the hells, what is she planning? Mizora's always worth hearing out. That's what makes her so dangerous. We'll have answers soon enough. Mizora's gone to camp. We should speak with her. Until then, may my father keep safe, whatever coop he's been flown to.
Okay, and we are going to go to camp, but we're going to do something else first. And that's because we did learn about Counsellor Florrick. Okay, and Counsellor Florrick needs to be saved, and she's being held in the cells here, and that's why we have a marker up here. Both of these doors lead you to the same spot. Into Worms Rock Prison. Now you are red bordered in here, so you can't fast travel out of here. And we see that we have a guard here. The guard starts with a perception check. And then there's a persuasion check. And Shadowheart's not with me, so the shield is not here.
Sharp as ever.
Well, we'll see how we do.
No one stopped me yet. With haste.
The guard is fast asleep.
Bathed in a tenday. Ate all the onions.
Okay, here's the perception check. Okay, it is pretty high. I can add in an advantage here on this. Oh, didn't even need it.
Old man Otto. Back here again. Cell stinks like an old cabbage. 3 bowls of the stew. What now?
Goodness, how embarrassing. I had a heavy lunch. Welcome to Worms Rock Prison, the 5th nail, Wee Jail. What's your business?
Okay, so here, because we passed the perception check, we can use this option here to get past her. You can also use detect thoughts to learn about Old Man Otto, and then this option will open up. Or you can just make a straight persuasion or intimidation check to do it. I just wanted to illustrate what the persuasion or the perception check does. It opens up this option here.
Your father? Not much of a family resemblance. Well...
Second cell on the right. And you tell him, no seconds for supper. This here's a prison, not an inn. Hang on, I'll let you through. Well, in you go.
Okay, and that gets us access to the prison. Now, there are 2 different ways to go here at this intersection. This way we're going to be exploring much later. We're going to hold this until we get to the time where it is mentioned to us by Duke Ravengard, which means that will not be until we finish clearing the undersea base. So we'll be coming back to that quite a while later. This direction here leads you to a storage room. We're going to turn off the brazier. The guard just turned around and went the other way. So we're going to lockpick this. And another nat 20. Oh boy. This is bad. Where are all the nat 1s?
Time for bitter business the light would fear to shine on.
What to do? Now what? Eyes open, mouth shut.
Okay, you don't want to be seen by the guard going in there. Okay, so stay in hiding when you go in here, and I'm going to bring Karlach and Will in here.
Long and low.
The pride of the gate. Going also.
You're making me sweat.
Once you're in here, you can stand up. Karlach I'm bringing in here for a couple of things. First, so Will can carry a bunch of stuff.
Strength in silence.
I'm going to have Will search all of this. Because it's honor mode and we pick everything up. Okay, so you get some nice potions here. Malice is really good. don't think he can make it up here. Oh, he can. What do you know? So there's a few camp supplies in here. Some items you can pick up. And a bunch of trash. There's also some trash down here.
Best foot forward. Easy enough.
Okay, so almost done here. Okay, and then Karlach
It's good to be alive.
is here. Where'd the dwarven thrower go? Oh, jeez. Astarion has it. That's because we have a wall here. This wall is sturdy, so you need at least 10 damage to be able to damage it.
My little trick.
And Karlach excels at doing that. So let's move... Oh, that's Will. That's going to be way too much. Okay.
The pride of the gate.
And now you can move through here. And we're going to take both Will and Karlach down here. We're going to jump them across. And they're just going to kind of hang out over here. You always want to leave somebody outside this door. Don't take your entire party into the door. Because this patrolling guard, once you're all in the room and you close the door, you can't see out here. So you may want to leave this room, open the door, and the guard is standing right there with his detection cone, which you would see would stretch way into this room. And he may see you, and then the prison becomes hostile. Okay, so always leave somebody outside this room.
How many die today?
But since we're going to need Astarion anyway,
Moving ahead.
we'll go down here. Now you have another group of Flaming Fist here. They will become angry and come out as reinforcements. We have some cells around here. And one of these cells has a secret in it. And then one of them has Otto. And Otto is back here. You can talk to him through the bars.
Something's on my mind.
What do you want? I don't need to escape. I've got food, water, privacy, and I mean to keep it that way.
Okay, so Otto doesn't want to get out. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to unlock the cell here. We're going to wait for the guard to turn. Wait for him to get a ways down there. You don't want to do this while he's near.
What now? Has a signal heard?
We can have Astarion go into hiding, and we'll lockpick the gate.
Let's go.
Now that guard is still moving back there, so keep that in mind. Okay, now you don't want to open the gate yet, you just want to unlock it.
Let's be quick.
Now we're going to take Astarion back and move him through the storeroom. And I just passed the guard.
Like a wraith. One step at a time.
And I'll join Astarion up with everybody down here. Okay, so now it's just me and Florrick. Okay, now don't touch the gate, but you can talk to Florrick.
I have something to ask.
You might as well lock the cell. You're too late. It's over.
Now, being able to see behind you here can be important depending upon your conversation options. We're going to make it so it's not.
The Steel Watch happened. I came seeking allies to our cause. Watchers spotted me, dragged me to Older Ravenguard's husk, empty as a stair. A tadpole's puppet. Nothing more. He spoke in accusations. Apostasy. Conspiracy. Sedition. I'll be executed in 5 dawns. You might have unlocked my cell, but there's no escape from this place.
So the conversation there was important. This is a time-limited quest. Okay? If you take 5 long rests, after you go in to talk to Gortash, Florrick will die. Okay? So you do not want to postpone doing this quest until later. You want to do it now. Okay, so big bonus, the DC of 10, that means, as Philip said, the one is probably going to show up. Close.
When the people need a miracle, you cannot wait for the gods to answer. Alder's words. I'd almost forgotten. No more sulking. I know what to do. Lead me from my cell. Escort me out of Worm's Rock. I'll seek out my connections. When the city streets shatter, you'll want their blades. Well done. Lead the way.
Okay, now as soon as you open the gate, Florrick will start following you. Now, we obviously don't want to do anything while the guard's here. Oh, come on. Okay, fine. We'll do it this way. I'm trying to figure out why that happened. Because it didn't in my 2... I tested this 3 or 4 different ways and came up with 2 different ways to do this, and it didn't work this way. So, what I mentioned earlier about being able to see over your shoulder, okay? As long as, in my testing, as long as I didn't open this gate, the guard could turn around and walk by. But, I guess to be safe here, what you do is that final conversation screen where you say, "Come with me," or "I'm getting you out of here," in the background, wait for the guard to pass by you, and then wait for him in the background to walk past you. When he walks past, wait a couple of seconds, click "Follow me," then quickly open the gate and cast invisibility on Florrick. Okay, that was the plan. And that's how it had worked previously, but I didn't need to wait because I didn't open the gate yet. Something is different here, so I guess to be safe, just wait in the background, You'll see the guard pass you, wait for him to pass you again, wait a couple more seconds, open the gate, and cast invisibility on Florrick. Then you can lead Florrick out through the storeroom where we were, and you've got plenty enough time. It's invisibility lasts for 10 turns. You don't have to be invisible, just Florrick. And then you can lead her all the way out there and go. So I wasn't planning on getting into combat here. So I don't have the ideal party to do this, but I don't think I'm going to have a huge issue. So
over there.
I've got 4 Flaming Fist guards here to deal with.
Let's keep to the shadows. Stay low.
So we're going to bring Astarion out, and we're going to go all the way down here and get rid of Fist Ivarus real quick. Can probably one-shot him. And go invisible. Yeah, I don't know what's different about this, Philip. Honestly, I'm not interested in trying to figure out at this point. I'm just going to deal with the consequences. But yes, the guards down here are temporarily hostile. They are not red. So I have not angered all of Worm's Rock Fortress. I could knock them out down here because they are temporarily hostile, but there's no point. I'll just take the XP out of it. I'm going to get the same amount of XP either way, if I fight my way out or I don't, and you'll see that reflected once we get Florrick out the back end here. So I'm just going to go up and start this off here. Let's make sure I'm on Psychic, because he's going to be steeped in bliss.
At last.
Okay. Okay, so that will end that. Now I'm going to move Astarion back here. To kind of get behind everybody. And I'm going to let the Fist come to me.
I wonder if this is worth the cost.
Okay, and I'm going to leave Florrick in the cell. Well, yeah. Actually, I don't know if Florrick is under my control or not. I can't remember. She is. So I'm going to leave her in the cell for now. Everybody should dash toward me. And I should be out of sight of everybody. Okay. So we'll move up with Astarion.
Time for a cull.
And we should be able to possibly take out 2 out of the 3 here, is my guess.
Yes.
Left him with 2 hit points. 62 points of damage. Jeez, it's so stupid. Astarion is just OP. So I'm going to get a hit in here with my first attack. And now with my last attack, I'm going to kill this Fist here. That'll send me invisible.
Still on my feet.
Now, moving around those things is... Let's see if I can shorten this distance here. I cannot hit them both. Was hoping to be able to hit this one. Not too worried about it. I'll be able to finish them off one way or the other. So I need... I don't need advantage. It would be nice, but... Okay, and now Florrick I can bring out here. Florrick has magic missile. And I can upcast the living crap out of it. Just for giggles. Okay.
Where am I? What's going on?
So we need to bring Will back here.
One move ahead.
Because there's a bunch of armor we can loot now. None of which I was planning on, but I will take. Because we're going to need every gold piece we can get out of this place.
This better be good.
And here's all the keys. We obviously don't need any of them. Now that he still has some inventory space, we'll just quickly walk around on the way out of here. And pick up any other trash that's in here. Wasn't planning on doing it this way, but oh well. Okay, and that opens up everything in this room for us to take as well. Every plate in existence here. And you will see why this is important. Like I've been preaching the entire time, pick up anything that is from a weight to value ratio makes sense to pick up. And like I say, once we cross into the lower city, you will very quickly see why this has been an important thing to do throughout the playthrough up to this point. Whoops. Jeez. I hate that if you click on a barrel, you can't interrupt it by clicking. That is... it's just dumb. Okay.
still in control. Just. Should mind my step.
Blade at the ready. And I'm off.
Okay, so a few more things that we can pick up here, and then we'll get Florrick out of here. Oh. Okay, just stop with the pathing, please. You're killing me. Okay, and a couple more over here, and we'll be done. Now, this is not an exhaustive search. There's some more barrels over on the other side over there, which I could have picked up as well.
These things have stayed interesting. These boots have seen everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously, Philip, a much better quality of life thing to have do. And there's a mod that does it as well, that allows it to happen on PC also. Yeah, from a console perspective, it makes sense because you don't want to have to be moving your cursor over everything to pick it up. But for a quality of life aspect, it'd be really nice on PC as well.
This is far enough. The way should be clear. I can't thank you enough for getting me out of that damned prison. And for giving me courage when I'd all but run out.
It's the least we could do. Your faith in this city should inspire us all.
Yes, I have some connections in the upper city. Perhaps they'll heed our call. You won't fight the coming battle alone. As long as the city stands, I will stand with it. This is my promise.
Okay, and Florrick is going to take off. And we're going to get 200 XP. Now, that 200 XP combined, you got an additional 170. And then, I'm gonna have to go up a little ways here. For each one of them killed, we got 200. Okay, and there were 4 that we killed down there. So we got 800 XP for the kills down there. We got another 170 for getting Florrick out. And then we gained 200 for the completion of the quest. So there's a total of 1170 there. If you don't kill any of the guards, you get 970 XP. Plus the 200 first quest completion when you, or for the inspiration when you get out. Or, yeah, it's the same number. I guess 170 is for the inspiration, or 200 was. I can't remember which one was. But either way, you get the same amount of, 170 was for the inspiration. So that 200 for the quest completion, you get that same exact 1000 XP when you come out of here without killing the guards. What will be different is under free Counsellor Florrick, this will change. If you get her out without killing any of the guards, it will say that you freed Counsellor Florrick, and then at the end it will say without causing any harm. Okay, so that's the only difference between the two. The amount of quest XP you get is the same either way. Okay, but that's now complete. Mizora wants to talk to us about Ravengard. Okay, so Karlach wants a shot at Gortash. We're going to give it to her, just not until later. Again, Mizora wants to talk to us. Kithrak Voss said that we need to get into the House of Hope and take the Orphic Hammer, which we will do later. And Gale wants to go to Sorcerer Sundries. So, I don't know why your gear's contract is popped back up again. And then investigate the murders and impress the murder tribunal are going to advance as we go through this because they are tied to Orin. So we got a pass to get us into the lower city. That's all part of getting her Netherstone. Disabling the Steel Watch and considering Gortash's bargain because we turned him down. We can still go back and do it at any time if we'd like. He's upstairs and he's not hostile to us. But at the end of the day, we need to get both of their Netherstones, and it becomes just what order do you want to do it in, is basically it.
Where am I needed?
So, I'm looking here.
Is that blood? No, never mind.
Okay. So, from here, the only thing that I have left to do is confront Gortash, which we're not going to do, and go talk to Mizora, which we're going to do as part of a long rest. So this is reconsidering Raphael's deal, which we're not going to do either. So what we're going to do first, before we take our long rest, is we're going to go get rid of all of our inventory. We have a bunch of vendors here, and we want to make sure that we've sold off our stuff. And we definitely want to clear out Will, because we're going to be removing him from our party here a little bit. I need to remove my shapeshift. Wait for my game to become active again. There.
What do you need?
Okay, so he's got a bunch of gold on him, so let's start getting rid of all of these things that we picked up. All the trash. Okay, Astarion doesn't need any of the shovels. We don't need the maces +2. We'll keep one murderous cut just because we've got one. Okay, and then down here. Okay, so let's look at where we are on gold-wise. 2142, 2174. We'll take an elixir of viciousness. We don't need the potion of flying. The elixir of bloodlust we will absolutely take. Aberration slaying can be nice for later on. I think we've got enough enough arrows of many targets. So that gets us another 202. Another 62. $38. Now I need a 1. That should equal it out perfectly.
Short father, bless you.
Okay, and now we're going to travel back to Rivington.
There now. You can see the city. Up on the hill.
Shit. It's up there and we're down here.
That's why we need to walk just a little
I'm encumbered. Okay. Don't know why that's in here. We'll go down here and talk to Ferg real quick. We'll saw off the last of this, and then we'll take a long rest.
I need a quick word.
Welcome. You see to peruse the special goods, I take it.
Okay, and still nothing else in here out of his special items that we want. We finished with Astarion. So we'll just quickly finish dragging things out of our inventory. Okay, don't want those. The expensive clothes we're keeping for now. Need to be careful because Karlach evidently does not have an alchemy bag. So I don't want to be selling off my alchemy ingredients. Okay, 2106. Ferg has a lot of gold. So, not too worried about that. And I think that's it. Does he have anything else that we want to purchase here? Doesn't look like it. Okay. So now we're going to head back to camp and take our long rest. Got to put something on before I went into this, but I don't expect to pass it anyway. There's a passive check here that we need, that you can make, an Arcana check.
Come, sisters, be my testament. Notum sit in Beator.
Notum sit in Beator.
Holy hells.
Okay, if you pass the Arcana check, you learn what this is. It's basically a ceremony to initiate or change a pact, a warlock pact with a devil. You need 2 witnesses for it, so this would change. This line would change if you pass the Arcana check.
I come to bargain. The hells demand witness.
Enough, Mizora. Where is my father? How do I save him?
How else? We bargain. Sisters.
Infernos contractos te vocamos. Infernos contractos te vocamos. Infernos contractos te vocamos.
Your contract, Will. Signed in blood, forged in fire, bound in bone, but not unbreakable. A life for a life. No contract is ended without sacrifice. The cost must be paid. Will Ravengard, a choice is before you. Option 1. I show you the way to your father. I guarantee him no harm except that from you and your allies. And you pledge your soul to me and the Archdevil Zariel in a pact eternal. Option 2. I break your pact and you are freed from your duty. Your father dies by his enemy's hand, and Baldur's Gate loses its greatest champion. Name your sacrifice.
Bloody Zariel. I won't let her take Will.
Silence, Karlach.
Mizora, you asshole!
Choose.
Okay, so 2 different ways you can play this out. You can either break Will's contract, and in exchange, she will give you the location of Duke Ravengard. Or you can break Will's contract, and she says that Duke Ravengard will die at his enemy's or our enemy's hand. And that's important. She doesn't say that Duke Ravengard is going to die immediately. She says that he's going to die at their hands, and it's an important distinction that is made there. So this is not an either or choice, even though she presents it that way. So we are going to break the contract, but first let's find out what happens to his powers if he breaks the contract.
Addendum F. The Absolute must be avenged for the Soulbinder's detention at Moonrise. The Soulbearer retains his gifts until such time as the Absolute is slain.
Okay, so we get to keep our powers throughout the remainder of the playthrough, which is good. So you can either save his father, give your soul so that your father may live, or break the fact or let your father die. It's A or B. Either one of these choices get you to the same location.
You damned wretch. Father. Do it. Break the pact.
Fiat ita.
Fiat ita. Anima ad beator.
Didn't think you had it in you. Seems my boy's all grown up. And don't go fussing about your father. You made your choice. You knew the terms. You know what? I think I'll stick around. Not for the greater good, you understand. Just for the entertainment.
Okay. So, a bunch of things happened in that cutscene, which we'll explain here in a little bit, but a bunch more things have happened. You can see there's exclamation points all over camp, and Somebody has come for a visit.
Nice place you have here, little rabbit. Could use a few more trophies, perhaps. I'll keep this short or my absence will be noted. You need the Orphic Hammer, and I know where you need to look. The House of Hope, our mutual friend Raphael's abode. There's a Diabolist named Helsik in the lower city. Find her, and she'll take it from there.
Okay, so you have some options here.
You'd regret it. I snore and kill in my sleep. Forget I was ever here, but remember what I said. See you around. Maybe.
Okay, and we're going to get an update there for the Free Orpheus questline, because now we know, again, that we need to get to the House of Hope, but he's given us a clue to that. A Diabolist called Helsik in the lower city. Okay, so Rescue the Grand Duke is supposedly complete. We're going to learn a lot more about this later on, but Duke Ravengard's no longer our concern. And that is reflected in all of these quests. It's not entirely true, though, and we'll see that more a little bit later. Because we had a bunch of people to talk to here. First one we're going to talk to is Yenna.
Hi. It's me, Yenna. You remember me, right? You were really nice to me before, and, my mum hasn't come back yet. She might come later. I don't think she's coming. Could we maybe stay here?
Absolutely not. We've hit our quota for mangy strays.
It depends on who's in your party as to how that quick cutscene goes. If Shadowheart was in our party right now, she would suggest that they stay.
Yes! You've got a fire and everything. I can cook really good. Whatever you want. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so let's go over and talk to Karlach.
Soldier, my engine. It hurts. I think this might be it. Soon. Things burning hotter than I knew it could. But look, we've just about made it to the city. That'll do me. Let's go protect it. Whatever happens after that is between me and the so-called gods. With this heat going, I can't spare the energy to think. I just want to enjoy whatever's left of this life of mine. Anyway, it could be worse. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, with who I'm meant to be with. How many people can say that?
Okay, so we'll talk to her again.
I can't believe Will's given up his soul to Zariel. For a father he fell out with ages ago. There's such a thing as being too good. Someone ought to tell Will Ravengard.
That piece of dialogue is glitched. It's the exact opposite of the choice that we made.
That's a heavy weight. I know you can carry it, but it's heavy all the same. You are so much more than your parents. You're more than the affliction that wants to consume you. You are my friend. And you get to choose your destiny. Choose well, all right? Please.
Okay, so we'll go over and talk to Jaheira.
I did not know Duke Ravengard that well, but I am sure he would not want his son to become slave to Zariel for his sake. I am sure Will knows that. But we would do well to remind him when his days grow dark.
And you can see that conversation is the correct one, in that Will has given up hope for his father and broken his contract.
No one truly understands the weight of loss until they've worn it a while. There is no shame in sharing the load when you need to.
Will sacrificed his own father. A hard choice, but not one that is unknown in nature. At times, a seedling must strangle the very tree that bore it, if it's to survive. I have. He speaks to me during my nightly meditations. He is well, and Oliver also. At times they are one, and at others they divide. Easier for playing, perhaps. And the land thrives also. I doubt you would recognize it. Perhaps one day, you and I can both return and see it for ourselves. You are a mortal child of Baal. Be careful with whom you share that fact. I hear many of your kind have met premature ends.
Okay, and then Astarion.
The urges are calling on you again, aren't they? I haven't seen you sleep through the night once in the past days. I knew you had some nasty habits, but I didn't want to pry over much, but bloody hells. A Baalspawn. Probably more Baldurian parents scare their children with stories of your kind than mine. I thought your kind was extinct. Goes to show, you should always check your facts. So, how are you feeling? Keen to reconnect with your family? Or ready to throw yourself in an oubliette? You know, though I don't look a day over 100, I was alive in Baldur's Gate when the Baalspawn first arose. I was barely aware of it, locked in the kennels as a young spawn. Rather thrilling. I get to watch the bloodshed firsthand. I felt very unfashionable missing out last time.
And again, that goes all the way back to Baldur's Gate 2. So yeah, he's been around a long time.
I won't lie. The thought hardly fills me with glee. Even with my newfound advantages, he's still an incredibly powerful vampire. But he's arrogant too. If he does hear I'm back, he'll try to take me and expose himself in the process. Then I'll be able to strike. Neither will I, darling. At least I hope you'll come along for the show. But regardless, the plan is simple. Find him, stop him from gaining almighty power, and then really enjoy killing him.
Alright, and then obviously conversations here with Will. Let's get Lae'zel taken care of first.
The devil Mizora has made herself quite at home, hasn't she? Do make her feel as unwelcome as you can. This hammer. Could it be? Yes. Yes! This is how we will free the Prince of the Comet! This is the key Voss so ardently and courageously sought. That smug shkacketh of a devil stores it at his vaunted House of Hope. Our destination is clear. Our mission undeniable. We must find a way into the House of Hope and retrieve the hammer. When we next enter the Astral Prism, we will use it to smash Prince Orpheus out of his prison. Mother Gith, hear my promise. Your son will rise again. The Prince of the Comet will crush the Lich Queen Vlaakith and usher in the Age of Orpheus. The air grows ever warmer, the hum of life within it louder. It may yet hatch, though not soon by my estimation.
In its heat lives stimulation, and in its throbbing, exhilaration. An effigy of Githyanki future, incubated inside a fragile shell. Only if you want me to roast you over a campfire, using my blade as a spit. But it is true that I feel some manner of responsibility for this unhatched whelp. After we free Orpheus, we can revisit the matter. If the egg hatches beforehand, well, we will shield it from the Lich Queen's zealots. Whatever may come, I will not let Vlaakith poison the fledgling with lies. A camp once visited by a scheming devil is no safe haven for the unhatched. It has afforded us as much disquiet as it has rest. Leave the egg with me. There's no need for further discussion.
Okay, and we'll check again.
I expected Baldur's Gate to be insipid, stale, wholly without merit. But it's got a vicious bite to it. Delightful. I'm not surprised. You've become death incarnate. Mighty, yes. And altogether unpredictable and intractable. One day, perhaps soon, Baal will demand your fealty. You'll either muster the strength to defy him, or you will succumb. I know how I'd choose.
Okay, obviously Will's gonna have some stuff to say here.
Gods, I spent 7 years choked by Mizora's leash. And I spent 7 years hoping to break free. I never knew freedom could taste so bittersweet. I have to believe that. I'm not the Hell's puppet in life, nor its warrior in death. The blade will be guiding his own hand. But freedom will be paid in my father's blood. Tomorrow, I celebrate my gain. Today, I mourn my loss.
A moment passes. In the stillness, you find a mote of tranquility.
The Raven Guard name now lives solely with me. I will make it count for something. I signed his life away before the Hell's witnesses. It would be easier to drink the Styx down to the last drop than to alter his fate. I'd be a fool to wish otherwise. We obtain the final 2 Netherstones and take back our minds. And the city from the brain.
And again, I know having all these conversations isn't the most exciting gameplay in the world, but just like going from Act 2 to Act 3, going from Rivington and Worms Rock into the lower city is a huge jump. And if you don't have these conversations now, you're going to start overwriting some of them or having much longer unintended conversations later.
Always good to talk, my friend.
So I might as well get him out of the way now. Not that many left.
Will sacrificed his own father to be free of the pact. Remarkable resolve, if you can harden your heart. The Night Singer would approve. I suppose that makes you quite remarkable. Though not in a way I'd envy, perhaps. Lady Shard chose me also, but because of the blood I spilled, not what flows in my veins. You were born of murder itself. Perhaps your fate is out of your hands. Your dance card is full. Lose a partner and wonderful. I was beginning to feel a little left out.
So we definitely want Shadowheart to be back with us here.
Keeping very well, I hope?
little Will's all grown up. I can't wait to see what trouble he gets into. Impossible. My bargain was uncommonly reasonable. A single soul for the return of Baldur's Gate's most beloved duke. A real bargain, I should think. I never thought the legendary Blade of Frontiers would surrender his father for freedom. Not very valorous, if you ask me. But what does a mean old devil like me know about heroes? The Absolutists worked a number on me at Moonrise. And you're the best hope I've got at payback. No one crosses the Hell's Children without getting scorched. Oh, you are an inquisitive one. I'd have thought you'd figured by now. Zariel found new use for an old battle axe. The dead three in that bulging brain of theirs are a threat to more than this trifling city, you know. Savor her company. Who's to say when Zariel might change her mind? My mistress can be so capricious. The 9 hells of Beator. Each its own domain, each with its own archdevil to rule it. I call the first hell my home, Avernus. My mistress Zariel's realm, a torrid battleground split by the bloody waters of the Styx. How I adore it, the delicious agony of it all. The other 8, well, they are pleasures unto themselves. Perhaps I'll show you myself, if I deem you worthy. Correct. I didn't. If you must know, I was scouting the cultists on behalf of Zariel, but those cursed shadows were thick enough to fell even a half-fiend. I woke in that damned pod. It kept my body sealed and my most powerful magic silenced. But a brave, kind, benevolent soul set me free. Gallantry isn't dead after all. Why? I'm supplying Will with every scrap of his infernal power. I've paid my dues many times over. I tell you what, when the time comes to squish that big baddie of a brain, I'll lend you a hand.
And that will show up in the Gather Your Allies quest a little bit later.
We must claim the crown of Karsus for ourselves, before anyone else does. Time and again, Will's plight reinforces my decision not to pursue the path of a warlock. It's one thing to make such a sacrifice in the pursuit of such a pack, but to do so in order to escape one. Truly, it leaves you with nothing. A bile spawn? Gosh. I know what it is to have a closer connection than most with the gods. But with Baal, that's not a bond I'd like to be bound with. You should be careful. Very, very careful.
Okay, and now for Minthara. Okay, I'm going to put on the Ring of Truthfulness to gain advantage on insight checks.
I wonder what
I'm going to have Shadowheart, who's right here.
Chin up. This'll help.
Cast guidance on me, because I think there's a couple of checks here with Minthara.
Patricide is often the first step toward greatness. But I hope Will does not regret sacrificing his infernal powers. I do not want a devil to hold my fate in his hands any more than a god. Aren't you tired of bowing and begging for scraps of power from your patron? I say we put the devil from our minds and trust in ourselves. If anyone should have the power of the crown, it should be us. Tell me, Ustnor, or show me. My mind is open to you.
Exposed to the limitless horror of your dreadful imagination, Minthara's mind buckles, snaps, and then burns hot. She absorbs every detail, whether memory or dream, and drinks deep of them. You sense a desire in her equal in strength to your darkest urge.
Elgor, Duktak, Slayer. There are many names for you, my love, and all of them inspire dread. You are exquisite. I know. We must find the Temple of Baal, slaughter Orin, and claim your inheritance. Then I will rule by your side, my slayer. Yes. I only know it through history books and hearsay. A city of murder and grief. It is already living up to the legend. He is rather fond of himself. If he truly intends to be the savior of Baldur's Gate, perhaps he has reason to be. Was Baldur's Gate enjoying a golden age of prosperity and peace before Gortash rose to power? I think not. This city is like a wild beast. It needs a strong hand to choke it into obedience. Gortash may have that strength, but he chose the wrong allies to rule alongside him. Ketheric was reliant on his god instead of his own strength, and Orin does not understand power and control. Only blood. Perhaps you should rule in his place. Your choice of allies is exemplary, after all. Together, we can teach this city to fear us. And that is just the beginning. When we have all 3 Netherstones and control the Elder Brain, all of Faerun will have reason to fear us.
So, Minthara be Minthara.
You wish to consult me?
Okay, so that was it. So, I didn't need either of these. And once we get out of here, once we take our long rest, we're going to have a couple more conversations in the morning, I believe. And then we will head into the lower city.
Let's see what this does.
How did you? Oh, it's you. I must have let my mind wander. Enough for you to wander in. Forgive me. I am drained. Ever since you killed Ketheric and took his Netherstone, the Chosen's control of the brain has been brittle. It's rebelling against Orin and Gortash, fiercely. I suspected that when we took Ketheric's stone, the brain would begin to break free. Those brain quakes confirm that my suspicion was correct. I do not know what happens now when it receives their orders, and I do not dare guess.
You feel the Emperor's fear as if it were your own. An elder brain enslaved is one thing. An elder brain unleashed will be the end of everything.
Beautiful, isn't it? The mighty Prince Orpheus, contained in submissive slumber. Come. You may as well sit a while, now that you are here. Your company isn't unwelcome.
So you can go down a path here that will lead you to a romance encounter with the Emperor, if you would like. I'm doing that in my personal playthrough, just to see what it's like. But here in this one, I won't.
Trying to guard us. The brain is restless, but I am distracted, and my lack of focus is endangering us. I'm haunted by memories. They are relentless. I can think of nothing. No one else. Duke Stelmane, or Belin, as I knew her. I wasn't ready for her death. You thought you were my first ally. Far from it. I have long sought the allyship of others. It is the only way to succeed. Though my relationship with Belin was different from my relationship with you. In a way, but not the way you're thinking of. In life, she was my business partner, back when we ran the Knights of the Shield. A difficult task for a mind flayer. Duke Stelmane trusted me, and the city trusted her. I conceived the plot, but Belin took center stage. It was she who met with the merchants, politicians, and patriarchs. It was she who negotiated deals and signed off on agreements. Her rooms played host to the most important conversations in the city. Together, we brought order to chaos. At its height, everything that happened in that city went through the shield. Through us. I could not have done any of it without her. Just as I cannot do any of this without you. But now, she is gone. Astute as ever. You think that mind flayers are soulless husks who feel nothing. Belin thought the same at first. You are wrong. Feeling is vital to the pursuit of anyone's goals. Even the mind flayers. Like you, mind flayers know fear. Like you, we crave recognition. But unlike you, unlike the others of my kind, I am no slave to either. My end is and always has been freedom. Belin understood this. Belin became my freedom. I won't, but I could do with your assistance. You remain attached to your physical form. I suggest you shed that attachment. We will do better against the Elder Brain the more illithid we both are. Another quake. The brain is rebelling again. I need to focus.
Okay, now I believe we'll have a couple of more, or maybe one more exclamation point. Yep. I think this is just a repeat of Gale's previous conversation.
I have a lot on my mind.
We must claim the crown of Karsus for ourselves, before anyone else does.
Okay. And that looks like it. So one thing you'll notice upon taking my long rest is that I have a new buff. Sweet stone features. This is from getting the statue made of myself from Stony in the Circus of the Last Days. Whenever you take a long rest, you now have a permanent bless applied to you. So I've got 1d4 bonus to attack rolls and saving throws because of it. So let's go ahead and we're going to head to the south span of Worm's Rock here. We're going to make our way up through here, through the front again, because, again, I should not have angered anybody on the upper floors of Worm's Rock during that fight. But I want to make sure that I haven't. So we'll wait for Astarion to catch up here and we'll buff up, but we're not, there's one buff that we're not going to do. I'll explain that here in a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and get Speak with Animals up. We'll get Long Strider up, and now we can cast it at level 4, so we can get it all in one go. Okay, so Astarion is going to take a drink. Karlach is also going to take a drink. And now let's make sure everybody's equipped because Shadowheart is not. Okay, Astarion is not. Okay. And I think that's all right. Okay. So, now that we brought Shadowheart back in our party, and we've taken a long rest, let's sell off Shadowheart's inventory here.
Intestines throb, blood whispers. Must be on my way.
What do you need?
And then we are going to head into the city itself. Okay, an elixir of cloud giant strength we absolutely want. Another potion of invisibility we want. 2 arrows of dragon slaying, definitely. And 3 arrows of aberration slaying. So that just about breaks even.
Short Father, bless you.
Okay, now there's one buff that I am not doing, and that's I have not pulled out the Drake Throat Glaive. And there's a reason for that. I'm just going to take my bard through here just to make sure. We're just going to go by myself. Make sure nobody in here is angry with us. Doesn't appear anybody is, so we're fine. Again, always useful to check. Okay, and now the moment we've all been waiting for. to the lower city.
Everything.
We are definitely going to, Andy, as soon as we get through a little something in here first. The lower city always takes a while to load, especially your first time loading it. Made massive improvements over it since its origin.
Thank you for the lift, my friend. Thank you very much indeed. Ta-ta.
Okay, now you remember who we had in our pocket. We had the Devilish Ox. He wanted to get here, he did. This is the time when he would normally give you the Shapeshifter's Boon Ring. Since we already have it, he gives us an Elixir of Vigilance instead. And we now should have a letter. Thanks for getting me in. I owe you one. Okay. So, no worries, Andy. Thank you. I certainly appreciate it. So, we've unlocked the Basilisk Gate waypoint here. And there are 3 things that we want to do right off the bat here. You can see there's a bunch of quest markers. Okay? Don't get overwhelmed by the lower city. There's a lot to do here, but very little of it is time sensitive. And what is time sensitive is really based upon your own actions to begin with. Okay? So, since we have limited time today, we're going to focus on 2 things. And the first one is right down there with the Stormshore Tabernacle, but we're going to go talk to Estra first.
No, dear reader. I'm afraid one of my columns is not in the latest issue. Print issues limiting space, according to our esteemed editor.
Okay, so she's letting you know that there's an article that hasn't been published yet.
No, dear reader. I'm afraid one of my columns is...
Okay.
Hello? Does anyone want to buy a Gazette? Thank you.
Okay, you can read the Baldur's Mouth Gazette here, and it will catch you up on some of the events that have happened. They still haven't solved the murder of Duke Stelmane. Learned about Danzo Arkwright in the Coast Couriers, the Sword Coast Couriers. The refugee camp also, and all the issues that are going along with it. And then Gortash's coronation. This was printed before that.
Oh, you? I know you. How delightful to meet in person. Though, you're shorter than I expected. How is such an overrated question. It's the who and the why that matter, darling. My name's Estra Stir, journalist. I speak to the people of Baldur's Gate so our readers don't have to. You are quite correct. The best broadsheet around. I would certainly recommend picking up a copy in the near future. You are, after all, the star of the next Baldur's Mouth Gazette. If I told you, you'd lose the fun of reading it yourself. It's our juiciest edition in an age bound to get everyone talking about you. I bet you do. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've really said rather too much and written rather too little. Good day.
That's going to start the quest Stop the Presses. Okay, and I guess gather your allies. The Devilish Ox is now going to be an ally later on. Arriving in the lower city, we can see if we can unlock the Necromancy of Thay. That's not going to happen for a bit, but to stop the quest is started. So we're going to be in an article, and we need to learn a little bit more about that. We're going to do that here in a bit, but first I need a major combat upgrade for my Bard. We're going to get that in here. The Stormshore Tabernacle. Now this does two things. First, Vicar Umbletoes is a vendor, and he has a couple of decent items if you'd like to buy them. There are statues where you can pray to the gods and donate money to the gods, and you can get a buff that will last until your long rest. Then you can come back, and then it will renew every time you take a long rest, so another permanent buff. If you ever lose it for some reason, you can come back here, pray to the statue again without giving any money, and that buff will come back. So we're definitely going to do that. But praying to the statues is very similar to leveling up a vendor's attitude. You have to donate enough gold to get them to bless you, and that is based upon your level. So we're going to send everyone in our camp to level 1. Get them to come in here and donate gold to these statues. Then you can steal that gold back later on. And we'll learn more about that here in a little bit. But for now, I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to split my party, and I'm going to send my Bard up here to talk to Vicar Umbletoes.
Your patron may not enjoy you shopping around the divine, Warlock. It bothers me none. Be welcome, child of faith. You have come far, I perceive. How may I serve you this day? I am Vicar Umbletoes, guardian of the Stormshore Tabernacle. I keep the peace in this sacred place and guide those in need. Of course, my child, within limits. Behold my wares.
So the three things that he sells here are the Sacred Star. It does 1d4 radiant damage by itself, which is nice. It also inflicts 1 turn of Radiating Orb upon the target. So if you've got that Radiating Orb build, Cleric, that you're still focused on, this is a huge addition to them. Undead creatures are possibly turned. They still get the saving throw, but on hit, you can possibly turn an enemy, which is amazing. It is a +2 weapon, and it also comes with a proficiency unlock called Dawnburst Strike. So once per short rest, when you use this, you will deal an additional flat +4 radiant damage. That +4 is based on your proficiency bonus, which at this point mine is +4. And then enemies in a 3-meter area around you must make a con save or be blinded. Okay? So without the type of darkness build that we have with Shadowheart, if we had still kept her as the Radiating Orb Reverberation build, this would be a massive part of that. The Mantle of the Holy Warrior gives you Crusader's Mantle, and you can cast this once per short rest. So for 10 turns, your weapons deal an additional 1d4 radiant damage. And last is the Reviving Hands. Now these are really good. Whenever you heal a creature, it gets Blade Ward. And remember, Blade Ward gives you resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. When you revive a creature, it gains the effect of Death Ward. So if you bring somebody up and they immediately get hit and taken down again, this will save them from being knocked out again. They will immediately come back up. It also gives you a cast of Revivify once per long rest. Saving throws +1. It's just strength though, so of limited use. Now there's something important to know about Vicar Umbletoes. First, he sells the Elixirs of Universal Resistance, which are really nice. Resistance to all damage for 10 turns. But he can disappear as a vendor. Okay? And what I mean by that is the way that we're going to do something right now, he will refuse to talk to you after you do it. Okay? So there's a way around that though. And I'm going to send my Bard up here to talk to him again.
Welcome back.
Actually, not this way. I need to turn him.
Come far, I perceive. Welcome back, child of faith. You have come far, I perceive. How may I serve you this day?
While we're in conversation with him, I'm going to switch characters. Okay, and I'm going to take Astarion and Shadowheart somewhere else.
Dedicated to Selûne. A place where fools kneel then.
Okay, Shadowheart should still have the Justiciar shield on, so she has advantage on perception checks. I'm going to put her into hiding. I'm going to put Astarion into hiding. I'm going to have Astarion lockpick this. You have to turn Vicar Umbletoes. Otherwise his detection cone will overlap this area and you won't be able to go into hiding. Okay, and now with Shadowheart, I'm gonna click down here.
There are traps about.
Okay, so she passed the perception checks.
Just wait.
I'm gonna break my group and send Astarion here to disarm this trap. Okay, and then he failed his second perception check.
Looks like a trap.
Because there's another trap here.
Looks like a trap there.
Okay, now you don't have to disarm these gas traps since we've already gotten rid of the initiator. But I'll do it real quick. See if we end up rolling double nat ones. Okay, and then Shadowheart. We'll cast Guidance again and just click on to open the door. Okay, there's the... Oh, she failed it. Okay. This could be bad.
Well, hello.
I took it for granted, and I shouldn't have.
There's no time to waste.
Don't touch me.
See if I can roll any good. Okay, good. I did. Oof. Okay. So now things are clear, and you can see that we have 5 chests. Okay. And the chests are marked. They correspond to the statues that are above us in the room. So Mistra, for some reason, this one is just marked as offering instead. But that's Selûne's statue. And then offerings to Helm, offerings to Tyr, and then you have the big chest at the front because there's a 5th statue that allows you to pray to any of the other gods in the pantheon here. Okay? So, for Astarion, there's a couple of things, or for anybody, that you could do. When you do this, I would suggest that whoever you do it with has the alert feat. Okay? So if you go open up an offering chest, it's got items in it. You can look at the items all day long. As soon as you take something out of it, you're going to get cursed. However, there's a way around it. Okay? If you click on them all, you right-click and you send them to your camp, nothing happens to you. If you right-click on them and you send them to somebody else in your party, that party member will get the curse. It can't curse your camp, so it allows you to take these items for free, basically, as long as you send them to your camp. Now, we're going to do this for everything here. The Shield of Shielding. It's basically just a regular shield that lets you use the shield spell once per short rest. And the Hammer of the Just. Now, this can be really good against fiends and undead. It does 1d4 radiant damage by itself, but then it also does 1d6 bludgeoning damage against fiends and undead. So it can be very, very useful. The last one that we're going to do here has the Amulet of the Devout. This is really good. The additional use of Channel Divinity is really nice for your clerics, and the +2 bonus to spell save DC means that something like your cantrip might actually hit once in a while. But I'm going to take this, and Astarion has now been castigated by divinity. Now, I got an inspiration for that, but I now have a condition. Okay? So when I fall unconscious, I immediately die, and when I die, an envoy of the offended deity is going to be conjured from that corpse. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do, and actually, I think I picked the wrong one. I think I picked the wrong one. But we'll see. I think I did.
On tippy toes.
Have to keep low.
I think I should have picked the one under Saluna. Let's, while we're here, go do that, because I think I picked the wrong one. I'm not entirely sure. And if I get this twice, I get it twice. That's fine. Oh, I can't, because there's nothing in it yet. That's right. I have to go donate to it first. So we'll see what happens here. Like I say, I think I might have picked the wrong chest to get the one that I want, but we'll see. Okay, no detection cones up here.
Cloak and dagger, my favorite.
Okay, so we're going to group everybody and we're going to go to camp. Now, Astarion is the one that's been castigated here. So I'm going to take my bard and we're going to move down here. There's another reason I chose Astarion, and that's because of the high damage that he can do. I'm going to bring Shadowheart up here. Okay, and we're going to get into a good fight here. I'm going to cast Remove Curse on Astarion.
Healing's on the way.
Okay, so this worked. So I got the right deity. A Deva has spawned. Okay. Now the Deva has really high initiative. He's got a +4 to his initiative roll, and he will surprise you. Okay? He gets a surprise round when he appears. For me, everybody's got alert, so I can't be surprised. So I get dropped into regular combat here. And I'm going before the Deva, which is nice because the Deva, it's vulnerable to psychic damage, but it can't see in the dark either. But it's got a lot of hit points, and it hits really hard and is really resistant to spells. But, again, it cannot see in the dark. And before I do that... Okay, I'm good.
Let's finish this.
Okay. Now, Astarion, need to make sure that you're on Psychic, which we are, because he's now vulnerable to it because he's steeped in bliss. So let's start laying the hate here. What is he at, 98? So now he's got 1. So in 1 round of combat, Astarion took 209 hit points off.
I'm ready.
Now, Astarion is probably going to take a hit here, but I'm going to leave him there to take it.
What should I do?
Okay. And now my bard should be able to end things here. Okay. Thank you.
Can't afford to stay idle.
Shadowheart can cancel the darkness. Now you've got a Deva body here. We're going to have Astarion pick it up. Okay, and now we're going to... And now Astarion has a body in his inventory, and we're going to search for the Deva Mace. This is equipped by the dead Deva. There's no other way to get it out of its inventory other than doing it this way. So now we'll have Astarion equip it. Now it's equipped by Astarion, not equipped by the dead Deva. If you go and you loot his body, the mace will not show up. Okay, it's there, but this is the only way to get it. Then you can drop the Deva back on the ground. There's nothing else that you're going to find on the Deva, and this is what the inventory will look like if you have, or when you search it the first time. So why did I go through all of that? The Deva Mace does 4d8 radiant damage by itself. Okay? That is not a thing that you're getting from everybody else. Okay? Or from any of your party members or from your skills. That is part of what the mace does. Okay? It does 4d8 radiant damage. It is huge. So many things are not resistant to radiant damage that you can see it does 11 to 47 damage by itself. Okay? For Astarion. Now for me, as the bard, it's going to be a little less because my strength. Okay, so I'm doing 6 to 39 damage with it. However, I can also bind it as my pact weapon. And now it's using my charisma instead of my strength. So now I'm up to 10 to 43 damage hitting with this weapon. Okay? If I compare that to the render of mind and body, remember, if I'm attacking with advantage, I'm going to deal 1d8 psychic damage. If they are steeped in bliss, that's 2d8 psychic damage. So that would be 16 maximum onto the 12 that it lists there for a total of 28. I'm doing 43 possible maximum with the Deva Mace. At the bottom end of the psychic damage, I can add in 2 onto the 7, I'd be doing 9. The Deva Mace as a minimum deals 10. So I'm instantly getting a massive upgrade in my damage output. Now remember, I'm also a paladin. I haven't done it yet specifically for this, but now I can activate all of my divine smites all the way up to the highest bard spell level that I have. All the way up to level 4. So every one of these is now a divine smite waiting to happen. Throwing all of that radiant damage on top of the 48 from the Deva Mace, now we're getting a bit ridiculous. And this is why the game doesn't let you normally have the Deva Mace or some of the other items that go along with it. Now there are cambions and genies that can spawn also, and they have their own individual weapons as well that go along with it. But the Deva Mace is by far the best one that you can get from a straight output number. So Astarion, we're going to have him equip the parry up to wound closure, and we're going to heal him, but not all the way. $62, $72, $82. So if we heal him up again, he would be fully healed, and we don't want him fully healed, because we want the additional 2 necrotic damage because he doesn't have full health.
Nothing hurts anymore.
Okay? So that is why I didn't use something else. We'll go down here to Shadowheart. Because Shadowheart still has one more buff to give out, and that's the Drakethroat Glaive. So now if you look, the mace is on my back, so I can give out an additional cold here. And now I'm 12 to 48 damage without any other buffs coming into play at all. So yeah, a massive increase in damage for my Bardadin here. As was mentioned earlier by Andy, we want to shapeshift Karlach. Into a dwarf. When you do that, you need to unequip the Dwarven Thrower and re-equip it. Okay, and she can also get a shield. Or or can she? Okay, so that would... She's getting +3 from the Constitution Unarmored Defense. She's still getting it. +1 from Evasive Instinct goes away. Yep, so this will up her armor class by 1. Okay, and now we can go to the Basilisk Gate again. Now, what I'm going to do off stream is I'm going to do 2 more of those. I'm also going to go donate all the gold to get the permanent buffs out of there. But there's something else we want to go look at today, and we're not going to finish it all today. I don't think. I'm just looking at the time. And that's where we're going to go here. This is the Baldur's Mouth Gazette. This is where we learned about the article that's being written about us. And this place can be a little tricky the way that we're going to do it. Okay? So, the first thing to realize is that we need to find 3 out of a possible 9 different items in here. And there's one of them in particular that you used to have to find. It's not that thing anymore. If you find any of the 3 positive articles, you're going to be fine. But 3 of them are found up here. There's one in this basket, there's one in this basket, and there's another one in this basket. Okay? The proprietor is Etvard Needle. Now, if you speak to Etvard, he will tell you he's going to write an article about you. He's going to publish it the next day, so as soon as you take a long rest, it will show up, and he will lock you out. He will kick you out of this room and lock you out of it. The thing is that you don't have to talk to him. And if you don't talk to him, that countdown timer doesn't start, and you can roam around here all you want, and he won't kick you out. Okay? So that's what we're going to capitalize on here. And there are some specific ways to do this. Now, this can get a little glitchy. Okay. So, right now, this wicker basket has a detection cone that covers it entirely up. Okay, and that detection cone is coming from this guard here. So I'm going to talk to him, and as soon as I talk to him, I'm going to immediately go into turn-based mode. Well, I'm not. You're going to talk to him first, Jorval. Well done. Wait for that to reset.
You ever heard of this many guards for a bloody broadsheet? It's ridiculous.
As soon as I come out of this, go into turn-based, because now he's turned. He will not stay turned forever.
Keep your distance, darling.
Okay, that's the point. And here's the first one. Okay, so this article is just an everyday article. It doesn't talk about your arrival in the city. Okay, now what I'm going to do is exit. And I always go out to the Basilisk Gate again. Okay? You don't have to. There's most of these things when you... Most of these 3, when you steal them, you're not going to get noticed. Okay? But if you do get noticed, whoever did the stealing is going to get approached by somebody, and you're going to have to talk your way out of it or buy your way out of it, or the whole place is going to become hostile. And then things can get really tricky. So I always wait. I always fast travel out when I'm doing these, but you don't have to. And then you wait a little bit for things to calm down, and you can head back. And you'll be able to see if things have calmed down or not, because if somebody's after you, they will literally come running out the front door when you get within range. And if you see them running towards you, you can fast travel to your camp and wait a few minutes. But what they do is they walk up to where you used to be, they will search around a little bit, they won't find you, and they will go back to their business. Okay, so we're fine.
Absolutely catapult sales. The people of this city love a hero and villain.
Okay, so this wicker basket here, the detection cone is done by two people. One by Etvard and one by the guard here. Okay, so I'm going to take Astarion and I'm going to put him all the way back here. Actually, doesn't need to be Astarion. I'll go steal it with my bard. I'm going to move back here into this spot.
What a day.
While Etvard's over here, I'm going to go talk to the guard. Okay. And turn the guard to face me. Now, you don't want to get too close to the stairs. She'll yell at you if you're too close to the stairs. So I'm going to wait for Etvard here to turn around.
Down in the basement. Only Master Needle is permitted access to the printworks.
Okay. Now if you look around behind the Steel Watcher,
Can't give up now.
it's free. Now this one, the Steel Watcher's going to turn around. So I immediately want to get out of this place.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Okay, you saw the Steel Watcher turn. So there's most of the time when the Steel Watcher turns, he doesn't have a detection cone that overlaps that crate where you're standing there. But sometimes he does, and sometimes things will go hostile. So I always like to just get out when I do that one. That one's the trickiest one to do. It's not the trickiest part of this whole thing, but it is the trickiest one to do. Okay, so I'm going to give it a little bit here. Just going to chill out. Whistle Dixie a little bit here. And head back to Basilisk Gate. Okay, so looks like we're okay.
If not over, then through.
Okay, so yeah, it doesn't look like anybody's angry or turning and coming towards us. Okay, so we're fine. So now we have the last one. Okay, now you don't have to find any of these three. Okay, I'm just illustrating how if you want to find all 9 of them, how you can do it. But you don't have to find any of these.
So perhaps alliteration is the way.
Okay. Now this one, we're not going to have to worry about getting found at all, but we're going to do the same thing. Okay, but this one, we're going to hide in darkness. Now where you place darkness is important. You do not want it overlapping any of the NPCs. If you do, you're going to start a fight. Okay, so you don't want to be casting it somewhere where any NPC is going to get overlapped. And you don't want to cast it on a wall. You want to cast it on the floor somewhere. Since we have infinite casts of darkness, I'm not too worried about where I'm going to place it. But if you're trying to do it, you would try and place it here where you cover both the door and the wicker basket. I don't really care that much. So I'm going to place it way up here, completely away from his walking path. I don't want him to walk into it when he turns either.
Let's get going. Just out a few.
We'll need more pieces to support it in the addition afterwards. Boots on the ground interviews with
The block has a broadsheet article engraved upon it. It speaks positively of you.
Now that one you can find there. Okay, that's a one that helps you out. That's a good one. But you don't have to find that one. You can find another good one later on. And now we're going to cast darkness again on the door here. Don't cast it on the door. You want a darkness cloud to be out here. Okay, you want everybody to be in it. We're going to put Astarion here. He's going to lockpick this door. Okay, it's a DC of 20. Even at the minimum, I think we passed that. We do. Okay, I'm going to walk him through the door. I'm going to have him close the door behind him.
Must lug my guts.
Now everybody else, they can exit turn-based mode, and Shadowheart can get rid of this. Now Astarion can't be seen. I like to leave him in hiding though. You've got a key here first. Some books. Heavy chest that's got some pale orange dye in it. Nothing in particular. There's another gilded chest down here. Nice potion there. A couple of nice ones. Okay, this one you don't have to read. This one here is a letter from Gortash. I'm telling you that there are some adventurers that have been allowed into the city, and he wants Etvard to write a bad article about us. So now we know where the article came from.
What fun.
Okay, and we got an ink spattered key. That's the key that we need. Okay, so we're going to have Shadowheart again cast darkness on the door. Or right out in front of the door, I should say. We'll go into turn-based mode. Astarion's in hiding. He'll come out of the door.
The softest touch.
Close it behind him. And now he can come out of hiding.
Have a lot on my mind. And, well...
Okay, so now what we're going to do is head down to this door. Now this door, the guard doesn't like you going anywhere near it. Okay, so what we're going to do is kind of get everybody
Still alive, so
placed up here somewhat close. Shadowheart is going to cast darkness again, and when she does, she's going to go into turn-based mode again. We want to place this darkness in a very particular spot, though. You do not want to hit her. You want to get it close to her, but you want to get it as far to the left as you can, where it doesn't hit Etvard and it doesn't hit her. Okay, so right about in there is good. And that's because if you walk close to the stairway, she's going to have a conversation with you about not allowing you down there. You don't want her to see you when you get to that point. Okay? So we're going to cast darkness right here. We're going to go into turn-based mode, and now we should be able to just walk everybody down there.
Onward in her name.
Okay, now when she goes down there, turn-based mode is reset.
Better not be cursed.
Okay.
You're not allowed down.
So if she does see you, because you're too far to the right, it's not that big a deal. Just click out of the conversation.
Quick step.
Because darkness is running.
While I'm at it.
And it's on a timer, so it will run out. So you need to make sure you're getting everybody down there quick.
Keep it together.
Okay, now we do have enough time to do this first part down here, so we're going to put everybody into hiding. We're going to kind of jam everybody back here in this corner.
Keep focused.
I think that's a good enough spot for Shadowheart and Karlach. We're going to start this off with Astarion because he now has alert.
Not a sound.
Actually, we picked the wrong corner. My fault.
Never wanted the easy path. Soldier. I'm nothing.
Shall we?
Okay, so now he needs to be off of psychic damage. Psychic damage does nothing against the enemies in here. So we're going to open the door and move back out of the way. Because now we've got a Steel Watcher here and another one here. Okay, so we're going to wait for this one to come back. As soon as he turns, we're going to have Astarion move out here, and we'll go into turn-based mode to propagate the first attack.
Silent as the grave.
Okay, should have more than enough movement to get up here. And I'm going to go for a stagger to start this off. Got all the numbers. Okay, so that took off, holy crap, that took off 85. Did it really take off 85? Wow. Okay. Is he vulnerable to force damage or something? Oh, it was a crit. Okay. I was like, what happened there? Oh, jeez, he took him out by himself. Okay. Things are getting a little stupid. Astarion OP. Would he take off 207 hit points that time? Okay, so we'll start this up again. Okay, now he's staggered, so he can't take reactions, which means I can move out of the way. Because if I do take him down to enough hit points where he goes into detonation mode, I don't want him left there.
I can't waste any more time. Light on my feet.
Let's get Shadowheart out here first. Let's see how far back I can keep her and still get darkness off. All the way, good. Okay.
Bleed for me.
Her darkness didn't bring her out of stealth, so I didn't want the darkness timer running.
Don't want to think about why my eye is itching. On my way.
Okay, so I'm going to throw a defensive flourish here. Okay, where did I roll? I rolled behind him, so I do not want him to go into detonation here. Because I rolled behind him. So I'm not going to react here. Okay, and I'm going to have Astarion kind of move around here as far as he can. I want him to go after my bard.
Can't even catch my breath.
Whose armor class is up to 30 right now. But if not, he's going to provoke an opportunity attack, and maybe that will drop him down enough to put him into detonation. Okay, so he made it anyway. So now I'll just have Astarion finish him. He's not maimed, so he can still move. Okay, there's the detonation. Alright.
What's cooking? No time to rest?
My faith protects me.
What's the story?
Okay, so now the basement is open here for us to search. We're going to do one more thing real quick. Put on the periapta wound closure, or wherever it is. Oh, we still got it on. I never swapped it out. Mistake. I've got 4 right here. 67, 77, 87, and then swap that out for the sentient amulet.
No one back home will ever believe this.
Okay, so the basement is now cleared out, and we are red bordered down here, but those 3 that we picked up earlier we don't need. So what I'm going to do is drop a save here, because this is a great point for us to end the episode. We're going to come back next week, and we're going to finish out the Stop the Presses quest down here. We have a quest marker that indicates where it's going to be. We're going to search this entire area down here, find the 6 other printing press articles. We'll use one of them to change that article, and then we'll see if we want to go talk to Etvar or not. You can kill everybody upstairs for some more XP if you would like, but we'll see if we want to do that all next week. So, as always, thank you all for being here, and Jerome, thank you for your comment. Yeah, that was a neat trick with the Deva Mace. here to have. So thank you for joining the stream. But for everybody else, as always, thank you for being here. I certainly appreciate your support, because without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.